What's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video on Bitcoin. We got bullish divergence, bearish divergence, the price recovering, the derivatives market making bets that expire tomorrow. So we got a lot of things we can talk about and where the price might be headed by Friday in the short term here. But before we jump into that, if you are not subscribed, make sure to smash that sub button. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But let's jump right into this Bitcoin chart here. As we can see, we are over $59,000 right now, and this daily chart kind of fighting right here to come back to this line, $59,646. We'll see. Obviously, we fell below this, kind of fought it a couple days ago, fell down again, and trying to get it back up on this, challenge it again, see if we can get above it because of the derivative bets that come Friday. It might be something. 60K is a target that might be pushed to try and get those calls and stuff to not end up being so negative. So if we zoom in a little bit on this, we can see we do have a little short-term trend line. This is a 5-minute chart, so it's not a long time at all. And it's just a really short-term trend line here. We're coming up to the 59,600 mark, and we'll see how it interacts there. If we can get up here, if we follow this trend line, continue to climb up and challenge this, it is getting tighter and tighter as it goes up. So we'll see how it actually interacts and see if it goes blast through it or gets rejected for a second time in a row. We see it was what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago. So five days ago, rallied up to this, tried to get over it, was over for a bit for that day. The next day ended up falling down below it. So we'll see how it interacts there. The derivatives have lots of bets that they're making on this price movement. And with derivatives, we can see right here for Bitcoin itself, 24-hour liquidation, 79 million. So it is coming down. This was obviously a lot higher a few days ago. But we look to be repeating this section right here, kind of repeating this previous section over here with like a few days of big liquidations. And then the next few days, kind of still getting liquidated, nothing as big though, and then goes back to normal. So we're seeing that right now. We have massive liquidation that happened, 65K move down to the $57,000, $56,000 level. And then the liquidations start to get less, so the price tries to start to recover. But in the recent days, we still have, 155 million in shorts liquidated. So this day, what is November 24th, yesterday, we had more shorts liquidated than longs for the first time in the last week or so. So it's actually a little bit of a flip here to see shorts getting liquidated, and we could have that happening because shorts are setting themselves up for liquidation here if the price is to be pushed up. And we see that with this data right here. So longs have exploded. They're back to 33,000 longs, but when we look at the shorts, they are back to almost 2,800 shorts. They have exploded. Let's look at the week just so we can look at this shorts chart and see how it is exactly interacting here. We can see this is the shorts right here. We see it coming down. It was around 1,000, so it actually already bumped up earlier than a week ago, around this 1,000 short mark, kind of hovered there, and then went from 989 Bitcoin short and rallied to this 2,800 mark that we're at right now. So obviously, the majority of them unhedged, and we still have longs getting liquidated, but as this expiration date comes for these big derivative bets, we might see the shorts start getting liquidated, which obviously pushes the price up. Right now, the sentiment in the market is super negative. People are very bearish on Bitcoin. For whatever reason, it's not even that big of a move from the all-time highs, even with 69,000 that we reached. Even if we look at this right now, it's down 14% from all-time highs. Since when is that a big, massive crash, bear market incoming in Bitcoin? It just really looks like bears and people who want Bitcoin to go down because they weren't able to get involved in it in any way are trying to celebrate any move they can, and it's kind of funny to see. But looking at this big derivative bet that is coming, it is nearly $3 billion in Bitcoin options expiring tomorrow, the 26th, and bears are better positioned below $58,000. So this was an hour ago. published. So the Bitcoin price might have been still around 58,000. And we can see some reasons for the price going down earlier in the month. The Bitcoin backed exchange traded fund, so the ETF, the spot based ETF, was rejected by the SEC. And to justify denial, regulators cited the lack of ability of its participants to deter fraud and market manipulation in Bitcoin trading. To me, that doesn't make any sense. How market manipulate Bitcoin's wide open. It's an open ledger. You can literally go see what's going to happen. You can see if someone's massively selling, massively buying. It's not behind closed doors. And a lot of things in the stock market, if you're going to talk about manipulation stuff, what about stock buybacks? What about S&P 500 companies doing stock buybacks that raises their price because they're just buying tons of stock at once and it raises the price up? Wouldn't that be manipulation of the prices? So then why do you ignore that with the S&P, but then all of a sudden Bitcoin's here and all of a sudden it's a massive problem? Just some things to keep in mind that don't really make much sense, but ultimately it doesn't matter. You don't need this ETF to get Bitcoin. Just go buy spot Bitcoin, hold it yourself, and you really don't need this spot exchange. And then looking at these kind of cases that can come out of these derivative bets right here, bears can secure $365 million gain if Bitcoin is under $56,000. So right now, tomorrow is the day that all this expires. But right now, Bitcoin over 59,000, so well above 56. So it'd be a massive drawdown to happen to try and get back under 56 or get under 56,000. And you can see this breaking it down below $56,000. There's 720 calls, 7,500 puts. The net result favors bears options by $365 million. Even 56 to 58 would be a net result of 125 million favoring bears because of the puts. And we can see we're even above that. So even in the things that would favor the bears, where they make money, they made the correct bets in the derivative market, isn't really here because we're above those price levels. So if we continue looking between 58,000 and 60,000, there's 3,600 calls, 3,800 puts. So the net result is balanced. So nobody really wins. And then if it's 60,000 to 62,000, the net result favor the bulls by $230 million. With these types of price structures here, and we're seeing these like this move already up to 59K, maybe we push it over 60, try and get in that 60 to 62,000 range. If the bulls want that, they can go and buy spot Bitcoin, try and push the price up so that they can make money on their calls. That would make sense for that to happen. But we got to keep in mind with Bitcoin as well that at this point, sellers could be extremely exhausted. It's a asset that has a limited supply, so you can only sell so much of it. So at this point, Bitcoin falling from 69K to where it is now, there's been lots of selling pressure, liquidation. There's only so much selling that can happen. And at this point, sellers might be exhausted. They might not have the supply to be able to sell to push the price down, which would result in obviously bulls being able to push the price up. And in this case, they have incentive to do that, to make their calls worth something and make money instead of expire worthless and actually lose money. So just some things to keep in mind and the derivatives market here. Then we got Will Clemente tweeting out over the last 2 weeks, bullish divergence between Bitcoin supply moving to strong hands and price. So we take a look at this chart. Obviously, the very simple overview. This is illiquid supply shock ratio. This is strong hands having Bitcoin, people who aren't going to sell easily, who are in here for the long term, who don't want to sell, aren't traders, basically. That's the blue line, and then the gray line is the Bitcoin price. You can see this like bullish divergence. The price goes down while the blue line continues moving up. That's bullish because people and strong hands are still accumulating. And then same thing here, price moves down, but the blue line continues moving up. And you see it in this roundup here. Price went down, but bullish divergence continued going up, but the price went up while the blue line started to go down. So that's a bearish divergence that leads to price collapse, stuff like this. And you have that same thing happening all across these different types of divergences here. Red being bear, green being bull. Pretty simple stuff. Isn't all bullish and sunshine on Bitcoin analytics and fundamentals and stuff. because as we always look at, the hash rate is actually finding a massive plummet right now. You can't see this. So there we go. Now we can see this actually in this big drop down in hash rate from 167 to fall to 157. And as I've always talked about, the hash rate has been a pretty good leading indicator of short-term price moves. So this is where we might get a bigger divergence of something like the price going up with the hash rate falling because of the derivatives here, the derivative bets, and the bulls wanting to push the price up to secure those bets, get those gains. And there might be a pretty good drawdown in price because of those push ups, as we were seeing with the hash rate here. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows and happy bullish times for Bitcoin. For the short term, we're seeing the hash rate obviously move down. So I don't think, obviously long term, nothing insane happening with the hash rate, but short term, that's kind of something to be on the lookout for. If bulls push the price up and then the hash rate's actually falling, that means the derivatives market is obviously trying to control short term, and then it might come back to a push down in price down to where the hash rate is and kind of go. So a lot of small things happening in Bitcoin and a big derivatives bet going on as well. Seeing where the price is going to go. Are sellers exhausted, and can bulls push the price up to put their calls in the money, make some money instead of losing it? Well, ultimately, time will tell. Tomorrow will be the big day to see what happens. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.